Hey guys, Eddie back with Couch Talk. Welcome back to the show. If it's your first time with us, welcome to the show. Guys, please hit like, please hit subscribe, turn those notifications on, and I promise if you stick with me, I will earn your viewership. We'll do whatever it takes. Today I want to talk about Brittney Griner, the returned prisoner of war, as it were. And of course, she's not a prisoner of war, but she was a prisoner that, of course, was intercepted by the Russians and used as a political pawn. And now we have a bunch of partisan BS going on regarding this prisoner trade. Democrats too happy, Republicans too mad. And you know what? Some of this is hard to even gauge exactly how much of this is Democrats are really happy with the deal and how much of this is Republicans are really mad with the deal and how much of this is just garbage that the other sides are respectively spinning about the opposition. Because I don't know, I mean, I've talked to a lot of people, and I don't know anyone that's upset that we recovered a citizen. Not a single person, right? That it's like not a single Republican that I've talked to, not a single conservative has been like, wow, I really wish we'd have just left her there. You know, no one's like that. Some of them say they would have preferred to get Whalen, right, the Marine who actually could theoretically contribute to the effort, the war effort, if he was recovered. But here's what I don't get, right? And you know, the Democrats are saying that Biden is saying that this wasn't a situation where, you know, Whalen was even on the table. It was, do we want Miss Griner or don't we? And you know what? As far as it goes, it gets tiresome to second guess the president every single time he makes a decision, he or she. Just because, you know, remember, guys, this is the hardest job in the universe. And, you know, no matter what he does, it's going to be wrong somehow to literally almost half of the world. So, I mean, cut the guy some slack. Now, here's what I will say. And maybe Biden just doesn't have the negotiating strength. Maybe he doesn't just have that negotiating ability, that acumen. I mean, I remember being in a pawn shop for several years of my life, managing pawn shops. You know, that's a skill that not only are some people just born with it, but even if you're born with it, you have to cultivate it. You have to constantly practice. You have to constantly just teach yourself and coach yourself, and have somebody. It helps to have somebody who really knows what they're doing to kind of come behind you and say, you did well there, but if you had asked them a few more questions about what they wanted, you might have accomplished an even better sale. And it's just one of those things where, no matter how much natural skill you bring to negotiating, no matter how much natural charisma you have, no matter how much, tactical prowess you have regarding how to, kind of walk people through a conversation and lead them where you want to go, it still takes even more practice and more cultivation to really build that skill. And maybe Biden just doesn't have it. Trump obviously did. Obviously, he did. That was one of his few strengths, I would say, is that he was just a powerhouse, a bulldog when it came to negotiations. I would bet that, number one, assuming the relationship that Trump had with Putin and with Russians, we all know he had a connection there, and two, given his skill at negotiating, I'd be willing to bet that he probably would have been able to accomplish more than Biden or give up less. This guy, this merchant of death, I don't know how much of that is just scare tactics and how much he'll actually change the game now that he's back on Putin's board. But we'll see. We'll find out soon. And, it strikes me odd as, that Brittney is kind of the more important target for us. If we had to pick one, I would think we'd go for Whalen. But, Brittney is the celebrity. So, that's tradition. That's, history, right? If you go back years and years into the history of prisoner transfers and prisoners of war and ransoms and how it works, it was always the most, important person got the deal rather than, the best for the effort. So insofar as it goes, I think we're maintaining tradition there. Um, as far as not being able to get better, that's a shaky one. Again, I don't want to second guess the president, but I just feel like we have more to trade in the form of, sanctions, more pressure that we can bring to bear. For example, I'm not sure why we let Russia have any of our people without saying, listen, you got to give them back or we'll consider that an act of war. And we'll start sending teams. I mean, we're already essentially at war with Russia and they know and we know it. But maybe that kind of blatant, direct talk is what might spur some additional action, might get Mr. Whalen back. Who knows? Um, and maybe there's nothing we could do. Maybe maybe it is what it is, and Miss Griner was the best we could do, and that was the only way we could get someone back. Who knows? But hopefully, we'll continue to try to get Mr. Whalen in the future. And let me know what you guys think about this, because I know it seems like everybody's in on it. Everybody has an opinion as to how good of a deal it was, and maybe it wasn't the best deal for us, but it was still a deal. And I think that there's some merit to saying, we got somebody back. We accomplished something. Even if it wasn't a fair trade, we accomplished something. We got somebody back. I think that's a win insofar as it goes. And I think we need to get Mr. Whalen back too. All right, let me know what you guys think. We'll talk next time on Couch Talk.